Good evening, everyone. We were hoping it was going to be a more of a cheerful theme this evening. However, Wolves 3, West Ham United nil. And we're going to get Frankie's thoughts. We're going to interact with a live chat. I am still convinced Nuno's trying to get sacked. I still am. My opinion on that has not changed. I've calmed down since the full-time whistle. I don't know if Frankie has, but I have a little bit. And I still feel he's trying to get sacked. And it depends on your opinion, perhaps, of what Nuno was like at Nottingham Forest and what happened at Nottingham Forest. But because of my opinion of that, it sort of translates into his time at West Ham. But we do have an update, Frankie, since we went there just before we went live from Sean, who obviously has contacts at the club. He's tweeted, Nuno is under no immediate threat of the sack at West Ham by the board. There is a feeling the team lacks energy and fullbacks. The board, however, are under no illusion after today's loss, saying, let's not kid ourselves, we were very poor today.
It's a complete lack of just seems to understand the situation that we're in. Do they realise that this team are absolutely terrible? Hadn't won a game and you find yourself 3-0 down at half time and don't even have a shot the entire match. Like, this isn't... If anyone was doing that thing where it was like, let's just be calm about the situation, let's not try and overreact, there's plenty of football still to be played, it's gone, it's finished, like that is done. There isn't no more try and be level-headed. It's big time reaction. We've just gone and got absolutely ironed out by an awful team and not even laid a glove on them. The attitude from Nuno stank from minute one. I was going mad, yeah. Every time that camera panned to him and he's standing there with his arms crossed like that, doing nothing, no reaction, no retaliation to what's going on in front of him, no desire to want to change something to win that football match. Just let it play out in front of him. And then for the second half, sat on his arse while he's getting paid an absolute fortune, and we're going and sinking like a lead balloon, and he's got a cheek to sit there and do nothing, sit on his arse and just watch it all unfold in front of it. It's a liberty. It's an absolute disgrace how that man performed and acted in that second half of football. The first half was bad, but the second half was worse because he sat there and done nothing, and it's bang out of order. And this club, if they think that that's okay because he ain't got fullbacks, they've lost it more than they ever have done. They've never had a brain cell around them to actually run a football club. But if they think that that's how mild the situation is that we've just watched, that it's, well, he ain't got fullbacks, he's under no threat, don't worry about it. You need to have a rocket straight up your... And you've just gone. You need to actually go and be sectioned and have people watching you 24/7. If you're that deluded and that mentally lost that you can't see that what's just happened makes us in such trouble. And mate, I'm so angry with it. And it isn't just Nuno. I am going to call out the players as well, because the lack of fight, the lack of determination, the lack of fight for that badge is just it's broke my heart, mate, to be honest with you, because it's just not acceptable.
Barney saying, why are people hanging on words from Whetstone? Because it's up to you. You don't have to, Barney. You can listen to what we're saying that Sean said. You're well within your rights. I don't believe Sean. He's chatting nonsense. We're not saying that you have to believe him. We're just passing on. I can't even speak for Frankie. I actually don't know what Frankie thinks. I'll get his thoughts in a second just for balance, Barney. But I believe what Sean's put out because, A, it's in keeping with this board anyway. They never do things decisively. They never take action. They do drag their feet until it's a bit too late. And B, I think Sean has, when I say really good contacts, Sean has the ability to message David Sullivan directly and get a response directly from David Sullivan on things like this. And there's literally a quote in there from the board about the game today, which would suggest / prove, in my opinion, that they've spoken post-defeat at Wolves. And therefore, Sean's under the impression Nuno is not under threat of getting sacked. Now, it's not to say they won't change their mind if we get beat by Nottingham Forest. It's not to say that he won't get sacked on Wednesday or Thursday. But I feel quite confident off the back of Sean's tweet that Nuno will be in the dugout for the game against Nottingham Forest on Tuesday. Probably sitting on his arse in the dugout with his arms folded, not doing anything, but I think he will be here. Frankie, so for the interest of balance, what do you think in regards to this sort of comment? In my opinion, me and Barney obviously disagree. Do you believe what Sean's saying, or do you also think we shouldn't be believing him?
Well, look, you can think what you like about Sean Whetstone, and you know, and his podcast and what he puts out and everything else. None of it really matters. The fact is, he does get told messages from the board to communicate, and it's very likely that this is what he's been told. This just facts. Look, we can go into detail of it. Is it that the dreaded vote of confidence, and it does mean that he'll be gone? You could read it a million ways as what you want, but the fact is, he has probably put out what he's been told by the board, and he's just relaying that message. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I believe it. The thing is, though, what we could also add is that Callum Brady did 1,200 word statement on the official West Ham website backing Graham Potter to the absolute hilt, and a week later sacked him. So you can, one day it could be, oh yeah, we're behind him, but the next day it could very quickly we can sack you. So he might get sacked eventually. I'll be surprised if he's gone before Nottingham Forest. And I think he's trying to get sacked. I do genuinely, hand on heart, believe that, Frankie. The second half from Nuno, while the attitude of most of the players was an absolute disgrace today, I couldn't believe what we were seeing from Nuno in the second half. He came out, sat down, and didn't even move. And I know we wouldn't have won. We would have still got beat anyway, but I still want to see my manager trying to alter things, trying to adjust things, make a couple of subs, adjust things again, and try and get back into the game and at least make a game of it. But we put out that team in the second half and went to a back five, and it felt like we were there for damage limitation. I don't know what we're trying to do, as if we've got a good goal difference or something. And then to watch your manager sit in the dugout with his arms folded for the entire second half, then get up in the 89th minute, stand still, then at full time go down the tunnel. I'm not having that. That to me looks like a man wanting to get the sack, who sat there thinking this ain't it. Because it also, I mean, there's more to pick apart in Sean's statement. I want to get onto that in a second. Is there anything else you would like to add in regards to what I said? Am I chatting nonsense, or do you think
No, I do, Gio. And the thing that I want to add with it is because I wouldn't mind if he's the type of manager who there are managers who do sit on the bench and watch the game, but he doesn't. Like, I sit behind the dugout at home matches. He doesn't sit down once. He always stands by the side of the pitch. So it was a change. It was a reaction to something. It is him spitting his dummy out, basically. And do you know what makes it even worse is that smug attitude, that lack of concern for everything that's going on, the lack of effort to try and put something right. He's just, the whole thing about it, if anyone had anything that they believed that this man would get us out of this situation that we're in, they can't believe that anymore. Because
I'm one of those people that's changed
your mind. Sat on his ass, and it showed. He is just, and he actually isn't blaming himself either. Gio, I understand that he's sitting there doing this as if to say, "Told you I didn't have my fullbacks. Told you I haven't got this." And he's probably been speaking to the ball, telling them why we're in this position. And believe you me, he don't believe he's got anything to do with the position he's in, and that's what grates on me even more. He should be up there. How we didn't come out in the second half with another striker on the pitch, I don't know. You are 3-0 down. You've got nothing to lose. I don't care if we go and lose 5-0. Do something. Go and throw some players on that pitch and try and get a goal and try and drag us back into it. It's really annoying me that it's not just today. It's every game. He's quite happy to just let the situation pass. It's almost like he just writes things off. Oh, you know, we've gone 2-2 with Brighton. Don't worry about it. We won't try and win the game. Just let it go. Oh, we've gone 3-0 down. Don't worry about it. Just let it go. It's not good enough. We need points. We need results. Everything he showed today is what you need to know about whether you want this man leading you into the second half of this season, trying to get you to avoid relegation. He showed you that it is the worst thing that we could do. The worst thing we can do is carry on with this man.
Yeah, he had 3 subs to make in the second half. He didn't make one of them. I think it's insulting to the players on the bench, especially the new signing. You know, we get him done, we get over the line just in time so he can be on the bench. Then he just sits there watching. And Callum Wilson can't play 90 minutes, but he had to play 90 minutes today for whatever reason. It's just the game was over. Get Pablo on. The pressure's off him. If you put him on at 1-1, the pressure's on the kids saying, right, we need you here. We need you to go on and get a goal straight away. But actually, at 3-0 down, you could put him on with half an hour to go and say, look, just go out there, do your best. It's not your fault if we lose. We've already lost the game. But if you can do something, happy days. I think it was just second half was... The first half was embarrassing from the players on the pitch, and the second half was embarrassing from those on the pitch and those in the dugout as well. Now, Nuno's tactics and team selection was wrong, and he contributed to the first half. But I think the players' attitude stunk the gaff out, and the performance of some of the players was diabolical today. But the other thing that I will pick up on that Sean said, Frankie, is that he said, he's not got fullbacks and he's not got energy. You assembled this squad. You, the board, you're responsible for this squad. So what you're basically saying is we haven't built a squad good enough to stay in the Premier League. Resign. You have to resign. Both of you step down. You're basically admitting error by saying it's not Nuno's fault. He's not got his fullback. He's not up until now. He's not had his striker. Or he's not got the energy it requires. So basically, every excuse given by the board as to why Potter/Nuno isn't performing, it's because the squad isn't good enough. The squad isn't good enough. The squad isn't good enough. Well, that's your responsibility. That's your job to make sure the squad's good enough. And if it's not, then you are admitting the squad hasn't been assembled to be sufficient for a Premier League campaign. Therefore, you also must step down. As well as sacking Nuno, you need to resign. David Sullivan, it was already time for him to go. But he's practically admitting they've not done good enough to back their manager. Well, you can't rectify it in January. You can't do that. So he's... Anyway, player performance, Frankie, what you want to say? I'll leave it as a blank canvas for you.
Yeah, I think it was just... I saw this as a cup final, Gio, which, again, it's the same as what we've just said with Nuno. There is no more games after this. It's now. Okay, you found yourself 3-0 down at half-time. I was trying to say to Albie, there's been plenty of teams in cup finals that have been 3-0 down and come back to win the cup. Like, at the end of the day, there isn't no trying to save 2 goals on your goal difference. That's rubbish. It was now or never. It was go out there and do it today. I don't understand how he didn't have that mentality. I don't understand how the players didn't have that mentality. They were just fitter, stronger, more organised, more up for it. They had youngsters. Their Mane looks like a world beater. Why can't our youngsters look like that? He's only 18, the kid. At the end of the day, all of this, see the lack of energy, it all comes, right? This is where the lack of energy comes from. Not that the players can't run for 90 minutes. The lack of energy comes from not being able to get on the front foot, not being able to have momentum in football matches. When you do what we do, which is sit off, sit off, sit off, we don't press, we don't put it on teams, it sucks the life out of you. And that is what contributes to a lack of positive mindset, a lack of momentum, a lack of being on that front foot. That's what gives you energy in football matches. Yeah. The way we play football voids your teams of energy. And every single player today, do you know what? I don't actually think, Gio, though, and I know people are going to probably think this is a mad thing to say. I don't actually totally lack their commitment and dedication to the cause today. I didn't see any fight, but I also thought for the first 10 minutes, even after they scored, I don't think we looked that bad. I thought we were trying to make a few things happen. And the first couple of minutes, I thought, here we go. We're looking all right here. We're looking like we're a little bit more up for this today. But it all starts to unwind when you've got a captain who, when the going got tough, wanted to hide. He wanted the pitch to open up and swallow him. He wanted to do anything to remove himself from that position he was in today. And I couldn't believe that we found ourselves in a position we're in. And his body language and everything that I saw from Bowen today shrunk. He shrunk. You need a captain who's going to drag him up by the scruff of the neck and go, what is going on? Come on, lead by example. Go and find that football. Get us playing. Get us moving and G everyone up. His body language was the total opposite, Joe. He literally shrunk more than I've ever seen a player shrink in a situation before. I was really disappointed with Bowen, and I'm not digging this player out because he's had a tough time of it recently, and there's a lot of players who are out there who are being hung out to dry at the moment. Fernandez is the only one I'm not going to criticise today. I thought he was fantastic and worked really hard and did try and get us back in the game at all times throughout the 90 minutes. But Scholes today was a big problem with playing the ball out of defence. His pass success rate was just terrible. Every time he tried to play a pass, he gave it away. It wasn't just him. There was plenty more players out there that were trying to do simple 5-yard passes, and every time we'd either overhit them, underhit them. The amount we couldn't place the most basics of simple football today, and I don't know what it was that caused it. Whether it was the pressure got too much for them, whether it was just how we just, like I said, don't have the confidence to go and put it on teams, but. It was really, really just, for me, the lack of fight, the lack of just going, and we needed a big tackle to G us up at times.
Yeah.
Every time it was going
we don't
flat,
do
we
anything
needed
like
someone
that.
to go bang and go, come on,
Yeah.
let's go. And I watched a lot of football over this weekend, Gio. I just watched Bournemouth. Bournemouth were fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Pace, fast. Don't care. Didn't give Arsenal no respect. Just went, you know what? We're going to go toe-to-toe with you and we're going to try and put it on you. And they were very, very unlucky today. It just... all over the pitch today. Somerville, I've been a big defender of Somerville. I told you I saw a little thing that I didn't like against the Brighton game when he was coming on. Didn't like it at all. And... he is just, I don't know whether it's void of confidence, whether he's mentally checked out. There's something that I think, and I'm not sure with Bowen either. Something tells me, and this is only just going by reading the language and reading everything that's out there, is that they're not buying into this Nuno at all. I don't think Bowen is. Bowen doesn't look like he's shoulder to shoulder with Nuno, putting a plan together on a football pitch, fighting together. They look a million miles apart. You want your captain aligned to your manager. You want them to be a team, a double act. You know what I mean? That's really important, that the manager and the captain are aligned. And then that, I think, just goes out for the rest of the part. I think Somerville and Nuno have clearly got problems. We're in a right mess, mate. And with that lack of fight and with that lack of character that we've got in this side, just look like so far out of our depth. And these youngsters who we all want to see, and we're all, to be fair, I don't think Myers, when he come on, did too bad, actually. I thought he was one of the more positive youngsters out there today. He was. But Potts and Scholes today, you look at them two and you just think, are these the players you want in this position we're in? And I've got big doubts, mate. Big doubts.
What I will say about some of the player performances, I think I'm pleased Myers looked comfortable today, because he got a really tough gig against Brighton, playing right back, against Matoma as well. He got annihilated against Brighton, in my opinion. So to see him back where he plays for the 21s at left centre back of a back three as well, and he looked comfortable, but Wolves were sitting back then. Wolves didn't want to try and attack us. They were 3-0. Like, you have the ball. We don't really want to come forward. But I think he needed that comfortable 45 minutes. The thing with Scholes and Potts is, I'll say the same thing for both of them. I think they both give 100% effort, and I thought them two looked up for it in comparison to some of the others, but just not good enough. Lacking the quality at this level, really. I think Scholes was trying too many adventurous passes, if you like. He kept trying to whiz it into Somerville and stuff, and I felt like he was almost thinking, this is crap, I'm going to try and do something here. But he was struggling a bit today. I thought he started okay, but just faded as the game went on. And it's the same with Potts. I think he was comfortable in possession, but out of it all over the shop a little bit. But he's one player that will get stuck in and put his foot in and try and make the tackles happen. And listen, with Somerville, I think 100% effort. I've got absolutely no issues about Somerville's effort today. It's just quality. He's just not really got what we need. He's not got enough quality about him yet. I keep hoping that once he gets his goal, that'll help him a lot. But I just can't see him getting a bloody goal, because he's just not good enough to get the bloody thing in the first place. But just not enough. And Bowen's first half performance was just, I'm scared actually because I've not seen that from him before. I thought it was a real uncharacteristic performance from Jared Bowen in that first half. Second half, he was a little bit brighter, but the first half, he was just walking around. I thought, what is going on with him? Like, it looked like I thought he was injured. I thought he was injured, but in the second half, he started running. So I was like, well, you weren't injured. You were just not harshed for some reason.
He looks fed up of having to play this Nuno football. That's what he looks to me. He looks like he's done with it.
Mike saying Nuno in, Nuno out poll. We'll do one very quickly because there's 1,000 of you in the chat, so thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Please do drop a like on the video and all that stuff. And I will get that poll live just now, and then we'll at the same time, we will turn to the live chat and start taking your comments. And I'm speaking slowly so I can buy myself some time to Nuno, right? In, and I'll be fair, don't know or don't care to keep it consistent. Last time out. Start poll. There we go. Right, that's it. There's a poll in the live chat now. If you wouldn't mind answering it, it's very simple. Nuno, 3 options. In, as in you don't want him sacked. Don't know or don't care. And then obviously out as you would like to see him dismissed immediately. Please get voted. And before we finish the stream, we'll end the poll and we will see what the percentages are. I can't recall what they were last time. They're quite even, I think, on it. Paul saying I flipped on a relegation poll. I'm not sure we get this done now. That's after considering we've got 20 odd days of a window left. Well, that's just it. What did the club do in the window? Did they keep backing him or did they back off now and say, no, we're not going to give you, because spent 20 million on a striker and he was left on the bench. Thank you to these 3 people. William, thank you very much. Saying, can any manager be successful under Brady and Sullivan? Well, David Moyes was. I would consider David Moyes' tenure a success. Won a trophy, 3 seasons in European football. To me, that's successful. Would you agree, Frankie? Or I'm not saying it's because of the ownership, though.
Only the trophy made it successful. And let's not I'm not one of them who overhype a trophy. Like we said, Gio, many times, our squad value was, I can't remember what the stat was, but it was something like it was the same as every other like if you added all of the teams we played en route to the final, the value of their squads, our squad was more than the value of every other team we played. Like, this was a brand new competition designed for a team like us to go and do what we did. So, you know, and then everyone turned around and went, oh yeah, but not everyone wins it. Well, Chelsea went and done it last season, so you can just do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that whole thing's gone. So I think there was a lot of area of fortune there. Do I think it was successful? We had COVID. But this all started during David Moyes' reign. The beginning of where we are now started when Moyes was here. A massively aged squad, the second oldest squad in the Premier League, with no correct investment, no forward planning. This all started then. So believe you me, it would have ended up exactly the same way if David Moyes was still here now.
I want to say thank you to Wonky, who is unbelievably giving us a $100 super chat, Frankie. Said, Happy New Year, gents. I know Nuno will be fired at some point. Bilic or Carrick next. We know Sullivan won't pay for Parker. I think if he does go, and it's a big if, I think it will be Slav that comes in. James also as well. Thank you very much for your support. Saying, as much as I want to back Nuno, when we score, he makes them sit back. He's way too defensive for a club that should be fighting for points. Right, we're turning to the live chat now, Frankie. If you see anything you want to bring up, just start it and we'll bring it up. John saying Bowen is too meek to stand up to Nuno, unlike the likes of Alvarez and Emerson, who stood up against Potter and got pushed out the club. James saying, hit the nail on the head. Too many players aren't of sufficient quality to play Premier League football. I'd argue there are 5 or 6 in today's team. Chris saying is going to be higher than expected. Don't care because fans have checked out. The owners don't care. That's why it's there, though. I think it's a fair representation. Give everyone the options, if you like. Essex saying, and if people say, who do you get in? Basically, Kevin Keane. No one is coming in with a magic wand. Has to be all about professionalism and playing for the badge. Now, that's just it. I was thinking earlier about Bilic, and I thought, do you know what? At least he wouldn't have sat in the fucking dugout for the second half with his arms folded, sulking. He'd have been barking at his players, and he's someone that he's very emotionally invested, Slav. That's an upgrade on what we've got at the minute because we've got bad tactics and a manager who's not emotionally invested. John saying today felt like a real fork in the road moment. I have little energy to give this team other than apathy. Just hope this cements Sullivan's putrid legacy. I'm a bit like John. Today was a big game for me, Frankie. It's when I went from don't care about Nuno to sort of get him gone, and we've got a bit of a tiny chance of staying up to, yeah, we're down now. Today's really killed me off, if you like, in terms of hope and enthusiasm and belief. Not that I had belief per se. Jack saying we need a rebuild. Maybe Championship would be for the best. New board, a director of football, new manager, and some new players that want to fight for the club. Nick saying no point sacking Nuno because it will be Sullivan appointing his replacement, and he has screwed up the last 3. So what are we hoping for? 4th time lucky? We are done. Can't argue with that, can you?
No, the thing that worries me though, Gio, is I don't think they sell if you go down. Everyone's thinking, well, if you go down, you get a new board, they resign, they sell. I don't think they do. I think they drag it out. I think they'll want us to get back to the Premier League so their investment's safe again. But this time, we won't have that Upton Park advantage that we used to have. We used to go down and have 30-odd thousand at Upton Park, roaring them on and it was, you know, we will still have the away following, obviously, which is amazing. But playing in that soulless bowl, as soulless as it is now, you wait till them tourists are gone and that's half empty. It will be a horrible place to play. You'll have no home advantage. Just all round, it would just be a nightmare. And it could mean 4 or 5 years of being in the Championship, and with them ignoring the fans, not going anywhere, being stubborn and just sitting there and thinking, you know, well, we're just going to wait until until something clicks that gets us back to the Premier League. Look, I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Tony said, I have no idea why Rush transfer through, sitting on the bench. Then don't use them. It makes absolutely 0 sense. Chris is saying you need players that beat people. Sideways passers is not enough in the Prem. It's a sprinter's game. Andy was one of the people in the poll earlier. Win, draw, or lose. I said we'd lose. Couldn't see a win, sadly, and I called it correctly. But didn't think it would be that bad. Real Ale saying, if I was Sully, I would have Steve Potts in to find out what's going on in the dressing room, as they're clearly not played for Nuno. Well, the thing is, I'd imagine Noble's saying the same things to Jared Bowen. You'd imagine Noble and Bowen are quite close, and he'd be saying, what's going on? What's going on? What do you all think about Nuno? They should have plenty of methods of getting honest feedback from the dressing room.
By the way, I mean, look, this is not like telling people to suck eggs or having an opinion or whatever, but it's for people who don't know because they don't sit near the dugout in the ground. Noble sits in that dugout every match. He's in the dugout. So it's not like he's distant. It's not like he's up with the directors. Noble's in the dugout. So he's very much integrated to what's going on at the moment. It's not like he's removed from, what's going on match days.
Mad Mark saying, where is the self-sabotage Nuno sacked? Well, the video was going to be that I think Nuno's trying to get sacked, but then Sean did his update, so we changed the title. That was it. We just got an update but it was going to be, the title I was going to lead with was that I think Nuno's trying to get sacked. And I stand by that for what it's worth. My opinion hasn't changed. The irony is I've just seen Wolves fans celebrating. Guess who they're celebrating, Frankie?
Go on.
Rui, Nuno's right-hand man from Nottingham Forest. He's gone in at Wolves, and they think since he's come in, they've got better. And Nottingham Forest fans, I've seen Nottingham Forest fans say, "Oh yeah, when we had him, Nuno got a touchline ban, a 3-game touchline ban. Rui was on touchline. Said we played better football. We won all our games. He was fantastic, and Forest fans loved him. It was a bad idea at the club, when that's something that's missing from Sean's tweet. Where's the bit that says Nuno doesn't have his backroom staff? Where's that bit? Because that's, in my opinion, crucial. I'm not saying it would make a difference. I'm not saying if we had Rui, we would have won today. I'm not trying to suggest that. What I'm suggesting, and I strongly believe this, is if you get a head coach and you ignore his entire backroom staff, I think it's a very, very dangerous thing to do. You are really banking on him being the brains behind operation. And I think it's a very risky thing to do as well. They might not have come, like I said, I got told that they fell out and they weren't happy with Nuno for what he did at Nottingham Forest. And that may be true, it may not be true. But what is factual, we've just been pumped by Wolves, and Nuno's right-hand man sat on the bench in the Wolves dugout. Katie saying, sorry, this result has ruined people's weekend. I'm not letting it ruin my weekend. I've had my tantrum. Katie, the darts are on in a minute. I'm going to go watch the darts. And then I'm going to try and do minimal work tomorrow so that I can try and enjoy tomorrow as much as possible to some extent. I am pissed off, though. And I'm trying to turn it down to simmer, if you know what I mean.
I'm fuming, Joe, and that ain't going to change. I actually thought we would get a very quick reaction from the board, and it would be that this fella's gone, and we know we've got to roll the dice. And the fact it's not is just fueling that fire. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to calm down before Tuesday night. And don't worry about this. I'm getting over there Tuesday night, and I've got zero interest in being in behind the dugout. I want to be in my normal season ticket, right in the mix of it, and if they hold on to him for that Nottingham Forest game, he damn well better go and win it. Because if you go and lose that game as well, then maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe they're thinking, look, between now and Forest, there's only a few days. If you get a new man in, what difference are they going to make between that time? We're actually got more chance of winning it with Nuno. I don't believe that for one second, but maybe that's how they feel.
To flip it round and to finalise, if you don't mind, Frankie, because the darts are the way to start and I don't want to miss it. Should be a belter of a game for anyone that's into their darts. Van Veen against Littler. I'm rooting for Van Veen. I just like the underdog winning. But anyway, to finish it off, I think part of the reason Nuno wants to get sacked is there's probably a clause in his contract. It might mean he gets no compensation if we go down. So I think Nuno might be looking at it, thinking, hang on, in May, I might end up getting paid. I might get sacked and I get nothing. However, if I get sacked now, then they might have to give me a couple of £1 million. We don't know what's in his contract. But bear in mind, Nuno's stock was high when we hired him. He would have had the club over a barrel when it comes to negotiations. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sacked now, we've got to pay up his 2.5-year contract. But if we get relegated, we can probably sack him with no compensation due. And bearing in mind what he's done at the likes of Nottingham Forest and stuff, I just think that I just can't get over what he did in the second half, just sitting there for the entire duration of the half. Didn't make a sub in the second half and just sat there with his arms folded. That is not a man that was doing his best to get West Ham back into the game. That was not impressive. Frankie, anything else you'd like to add before we disappear for now?
No, just that we need to, for many reasons, we need to get over there on Tuesday night, and I think it's time to make a bit of a stand, Gio, to be honest. I think there's no more. Do we need any more fuel for these red card protests to sort of be as big as they've ever been? I didn't really see much of it. Against Fulham, the red card protest was very good. Saw it, big C, really noticeable. Brighton, I didn't notice it as much. Weren't as strong. I think we really need to everybody get behind it.
Today, I will just add, today it was still the black balloons, which is the last game of black balloons. So it now moves to the red cards away as well at home. So hopefully we'll see some action. But they are trying. I know Hammers United are trying to come up with things in the background and stuff. They're just trying to keep it legal and above board, which I appreciate. A lot of people think, oh, no, you need to do more. But then it's...
They don't need to do more, Gio. We need to do more. If we're not happy, we go and make it very clear. Look, there's no question that West Ham getting 3 points is the main priority on Tuesday night, because I fear. Last time I went down, Joe, was the best season of my life. I loved that championship season. It was brilliant. I went to every game. It was fantastic, right? But this time it will be different. So we don't want it. So we desperately need the 3 points. So we get behind them. We roar them on. But if it goes wrong again, we need to make a proper stand as West Ham fans and make these idiots do something.
Very last thing, because I forgot about it. We had a poll, didn't we, Frankie? I've just ended the poll now. I'm just waiting for the results to pop up. The results, the final results of the poll, 700 people voted. Thank you very much for everyone that participated. We said, do you want Nuno in, out, or don't know, don't care? 64% of people watching live want Nuno to be sacked. 23% of people don't know or don't care. And just 13% of people would like to see Nuno remain as the West Ham United head coach. I can't recall what the percentages were last week, but it's a significant shift anyway, that only 13% of people want to see him retain his job. Frankie, pleasure as always. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for you guys joining us. Please do drop a like on it. Sky News Hammers Chat. We're off because the darts are way to start. We'll catch you in a bit.